is Girl Stop Playin', a weekly show that empowers Black women to stop playing with their potential so they can live a life that they love. I'm Koereyelle, your favorite homegirl, and I'm on a mission to help Black women make the money and get the honey. You can have it all as long as you're willing to work. Black women to stop playing with their potential. So we talk about entrepreneurship and relationships primarily, but then, we can go deep with either
whatever
one.
you want to.
But I got some stuff to talk to you about.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Let's do it then. All right, let's go.
I'm excited. Okay. Oh, so we're just, I know you know this, but we're just looking at each other, having a conversation. If you want to make a point or look the people in their eye, this first camera is your camera. Yep.
Okay, very good. I want to get a little B-roll when we finish.
Okay. He'll take some too.
Okay.
Let me, can I give you this tablet? Because my phone was definitely going off. Thank you.
Now, what did you hit when you did that? Because was it the Bluetooth thing?
If you hold it, it'll pop up.
It'll pop up. Okay, because I'm going to see a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So this
you have
way,
to, yep.
yeah. So
I wish you could just leave it to where it's on for everyone. But it's so annoying.
I
You got to
know.
keep doing that. Because
Because
other people can send
right.
stuff. But they would. You have to accept it
Right.
though, right? They can't just send it to your phone.
Yeah, but then it's weird because you get all these pings
Popping up.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's
You're
right.
right,
He's
you're right.
right.
For
He said-
security reasons.
For security reasons, right.
All right. And 5,
Oh.
4, 3.
Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Stop Playin' podcast. It's your favorite homegirl, Koereyelle, here to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. You already know that I'm bringing you the information and the conversations to help you make the money and get the honey. You can have it all as long as you are willing to work. And y'all, I cannot even contain my excitement about the conversation we are about to have, okay? This interview is literally a manifestation that y'all get to witness. So without further ado, please welcome today's guest, the Dr. Traci Lynn.
Well, hello.
I heard somebody call you the $100 million woman, something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
So your resume is long.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure we put some respect on your name.
Yeah.
So I want for you to look in this camera and tell the people, who is Dr. Traci Lynn?
Oh my goodness! So the Who would be the woman who started the Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry business, and we had over 100,000 independent consultants selling our jewelry all over the continental U.S. We dabbled in Canada a little bit, but that's the Who beginning of the story. And my mentor was Madam C.J. Walker, who I never met, but she came 100 years before me. And so I was patterning my business after what she did in direct sales. But I looked to so many other women in that space, but there was no other black women in that space. Madam C.J. Walker 100 years ago and Traci Lynn.
She said put some respect on her name, as we shall. So I want to ask, did you work in direct sales before starting a direct sales business?
No, I had joined a few other companies, just random. Family members got me in something, selling something. So I had experience with one or two before.
And what was your experience like? Because I have a theory about direct sales and just sales period and like the type of personality that it takes to thrive in those roles. What was your personal experience just working in direct sales?
Well, in the beginning, it wasn't good because I just didn't want to call family and friends. And I was, you believe it or not, seemed to be a little bit more shy when it came to approaching people about the opportunity. Of course, when we're uncomfortable, we find the reasons. Mm-hmm. So my reason was I'm shy. And there's nothing in my body that's shy. But because I didn't really want to do the work and learn how to do it, read the scripts, and then I felt phony. So it was just, it was a process. And then eventually I realized, okay, so this is the script, but I can take it, put it into my own words, and give it back. And then it became more personal development. So at the root of the direct selling companies was personal development. And even with Traci Lynn, we were a jewelry company, but we were a personal development company at the heart, disguised as jewelry. So that's, so when you took the personal development piece, That's what transformed the lives of women.
So I have dibbled and dabbled in direct sales, multi-level marketing, all of these spaces where
Yeah.
I feel so uncomfortable, where much like you, I'm like, oh, I feel fake reading
Yep.
a script or,
Yes,
feeling like I'm
yes.
pretending. And that just didn't sit well with me. However,
Mm-hmm.
what I know now, being an entrepreneur and just being a grown-ass woman, is the value that people who were in direct sales, if I could go back and do it all over again, just the muscle that you build of getting that rejection, of picking yourself up off the ground, of peeling your face up after, that there's not much greater personal development out there than figuring out your identity through rejection.
Absolutely. And it is a muscle that you build. And again, it goes back to personal development. Everybody wants development, but they don't want to go through the process of development. There's a process, and you got to trust that process.
What would you say were some of like the principles that you incorporated into your personal development that helped your team to thrive? Because with 100,000 agents or representatives, I'm assuming everybody doesn't come to the table with the salesman spirit, or they naturally have it. So what type of skills could you teach these women that would help them be successful?
Well, we called them the force because they were a force to be reckoned with. And I called them my partners. So it was always the way I laid out the foundation and the language I used. Partners. They were independent consultants. That's what all direct selling people are, independent consultants. But I wanted more. I wanted partnership. I wanted them to have a voice. So for them to have the voice, to be the force, they went through my training program. So I put together a university, a jewelry university, where I wasn't just teaching selling, I'm teaching the skills of getting outside your comfort zone, self-esteem, knowing your worth, knowing your value, how to get paid what you're worth, how to know what your dollar per hour proposition is. Do you know what it is? I need an extra job. Well, what's the dollar per hour proposition you're looking for? You looking at Target? You looking at Walmart? Or you want to make some lawyer kind of money selling jewelry? So I had to explain value, dollar per hour proposition. So I started teaching these foundational truths that would help them in their job, because they went back and negotiated for more money on the job. So I was teaching them life skills. Everything I taught them in jewelry transferred. And then, I had some people who wouldn't even really wear jewelry. It was so small you needed a magnifying glass. I had a woman back then, she was probably about 60-some, and she wouldn't wear anything bigger than this. Then we had a convention. She walked across that stage. That jewelry was so big. That was like Flavor Flav coming across the stage. That cluck. And so she got comfortable in her own skin. And that's what I wanted, because you can fly from there. And that's what I was teaching.
So people always say that the people are the hardest part of the business, like managing people from a team to managing your customers. But baby, to think about managing 100,000 plus, because that's just the reps. That ain't even your team, your
That's
employees.
That's
How? I'm seriously, I don't even know a better question than just how. Like, how did you do that?
Well, first of all, the saying goes, the worst thing about direct sales is the people. The best thing is the people. So it's a juxtaposition of both. It's the people and the people. So you've got to learn to see what you need to see. You eat the bones and throw the rest. Eat the meat, throw the bones away. You take the best part of it. And then the how. I was in my purpose, in my season. So when you say, girl, stop playing like, I'm going to wait till the kids graduate. I'm going to wait till they do this. I'm going to wait till this time. There is a season and a clock. So you need to stop playing and be in your season. And when you're in your season, there is an anointing that rests upon you to do it. There is a grace for your place. So that is the how. I was anointed to do it. I came here to do it, and I did it in the time of the season. I wasn't playing. I didn't stop. I had snakes all around me. I had wildlife all around me. I had the worst and I had the best, all at the same time. But what I knew that I was supposed to be here. And I wasn't worried about the nonsense that comes with that.
All I heard was God.
Yeah.
What does your spiritual practice have to be like for you to stand firm in your purpose and not be able to be swayed by people?
Well, honey, they got to watch my documentary. I just released a documentary, and I watched it for the first time in years. And one thing I saw was a relationship with the Lord like none other. He was first place. That's what it had to be. Prayer was first place. Trusting him was first place. Not looking at the situation and the circumstances, and knowing that I was called for a reason, for such a time as this. And no matter what it looked like when my warehouse went out of business, when they tried to sabotage me, if I kept my eyes on him, if I took care of God's business, he always took care of my business. So you had to be 100% in tune with him and understand your mission. That's why folks be playing, because they don't know what they're called for. They dabbling here, they dabbling in there, they just getting their hustle on, but don't understand in the hustle, know your mission. Know what you came here to do. You don't just go around deciding it, you discover it because you came here with it. I gotta calm down.
No, I needed to just let that simmer. I needed to let that simmer because a part of what you said, regardless of the view, my current view, I know the vision.
100%.
That's easy to say though. But when the warehouse is being shut down, when the plans ain't coming together like they're supposed to, when it doesn't feel like this season is anointed. Because when things are just working out, when the doors are just opening and when God is just sending things, it feels like my steps are ordered. That's one feeling. But when you know that this is what God told you to do, but the odds are just stacked against you, the haters is coming out the woodworks, the people are talking about you, it just, what your view does not match that vision. How do you hold on to your faith? How do you hold on to what God told you when that bill is due and you ain't got it? Like, how do you hold on to that?
Because you've had experiences with the lions and the bears. This is David. You know, he slayed the lion. He slayed the bear before he went up against Goliath. He knew what he knew because he already had experience. I experienced a lot of small wins when it didn't look like it was going to go my way. So being anointed doesn't mean, and your steps being ordered doesn't mean everything's going to work out. You're going to have sunshine and rain at the same time. But God is still God. And those are moments of testing when he can look and say, you know what, have you considered my servant? Tracy, go ahead. She's down with me. You can throw all this at her and she's going to see me. And she's going to walk through that storm. Hard.
So do you have the why me moments, or have you evolved past that? Have you? Is there
never
a place? Okay, so the answer is no. You can't evolve past it.
No, you cannot.
Okay.
You and then even in the documentary, I did what I had to do. I moved quick. I still did the ministry stuff I had to do. I was out speaking, but I moved with precision. And then after I did it, I was on the floor crying, and they happened to catch that in. I didn't leave that out because I need people to know. Because I can endure hardness like a good soldier, I'm still going to cry. I'm still going to go through it. And I'm going to have those moments like, did you bring me this far? I asked the question, did you bring me this far to leave me? And in my spirit, I could hear God saying that I began this good work and I'm going to complete it. So keep moving. Don't get in a pity party. Don't be calling up everybody. Because I have people say, well, the time is up then. It sounds like the season is ended. Season ain't in. I got to go through this thing. You think you just wake up one day and make $100 million? Really? Being a black woman with coming from no money, for real? Though, no. You're gonna have to endure hardness like a good soldier. You're gonna have to endure the snakes. You're gonna have to endure the pit bulls, but they ain't got no teeth and no venom. Shake it off.
Dr. Tracy, don't do me like this, Dr. Tracy. You came in here to preach today?
I came in here fired up today. I flew in here early for you, so we gonna get it today. I'm right off the plane ready.
It's so easy to be a good and faithful servant. When the bank account is looking good, when the people are singing your praises. But baby, when God has to remind you that I'm still God, it is rough. It is hard to get in front of a microphone when you're battling something. And I feel like personally, God has been working on me like, I wish you would close your mouth about me. Just because you're not seeing what you think you should be seeing right now, you going to stop talking about what I've been doing. But it's unnatural. It feels unnatural to still be out celebrating and shouting about the goodness when you're not currently in it. So to speak about,
Yes.
I can do the work and then I can go fall down on the ground because I am still a human.
Absolutely.
That is so necessary.
But people need to see that.
That.
Because then they judge their own walk based on what you're saying.
Because they think you're superhuman.
You're superhuman. And then where is your compassion for others? Because you haven't been touched with those things. So I've been touched with that. I know what it's like to get on the floor and cry. I know what it's like to have everything against me. I know what it's like to have women who've been in business and I've written big checks to try to come out against me, all on social media. Every hour, here they come and make it look crazy. And I heard the Lord say in prayer that morning, today is going to be one of those days, but remember, you're bulletproof. I know what that was about. And as soon as I got in the office, you know what? I went and got my hair done, and that was a 3-hour appointment. It was a full weave, full color. And I sat there for 3 hours and got that hair done because it was all, God already told me it was about to happen. Already warned me. But it doesn't make it any easier, especially when you see betrayal and you got to deal with that. But the world is also watching. Are we who we say we are? Or are we only in it for just the meat and the drink when everything is going good, when the bank account is fat? Or do we have to trust? So then where is our faith and where is our trust? If everything is working, it's all lining up. Guess what? It's still lining up when you can't see it. It is lining up. You're just looking in clouds, but it's already done. Keep walking. Sun's coming back out.
How do you not let this chip away at your character, especially the public part of it? Because you can know who you are. You could think you know who you are until other people start telling you who they think you are. And if too many people start telling you who they think you are, one after the next, eventually you could start feeling like maybe these people are right. Or blaming yourself for even letting these people get close to you.
Now you're talking my language both ways.
That's some inner turmoil right there.
It is. But listen to words though. Words are powerful. You said character. How can what has your character got to do with that? See that now they may come for your self-esteem. But they could try to assassinate your character, but you already know who you are. You know what you're going to do in the day and what you're going to do in the night when people are looking and when they're not looking. See, that's character. People get things and blessings and opportunities that their character can't hold up to. But when your character can hold up, and you know how you got character? Because you ain't fighting back. When you want to go over there, pop, and you sitting down calm. So it's not even that they're coming. Sometimes they do come for your character, but what they're really coming for, what you said and all what you said, they're coming for your confidence. They're coming for your self-esteem.
How do you keep it? How you keep it, Dr. Tracy?
Because first of all, and you got to be careful, because you do get upset. I've been upset about people that I have allowed in, but that's why the word says guard your heart without all diligence, because out of it is the issues of life. And then they all up in, you got issues from stuff they saying, because you got to guard it and you got to have strong discernment. Even though everything looks good, but there is something telling you, they're not right. Something's not right. Something's off. But you don't see it. And then you go against what you know, and there it is. Do you know 99% of the time the Lord has already said that one? And I'll be like, no, look how good they look. They're not
my
they're
friend.
so sweet. Not my friend. Shucks. Yeah. So that if you really listen to him giving you those warnings about the character. But let's talk about keeping self-esteem, because this is important. Here it was. I had accomplished so many great things, and I had a long season of drought, and things were going bad, just craziness. How did I get here? moments. And I even had a staff member just try to do some, people will try to really get you when they think you down. When they think you down, just really try to step on you hard. And I knew it started to affect my own confidence, my self-esteem. And I ain't talking about 20 years ago. I'm talking about just a few years ago. And that's how my big dog story, Coco, that's not about just my German. That was me looking at Coco and the Lord speaking to me through that example, because it's like, did you forget who you are, who I made you to be? You a big dog. You running with these little chihuahuas out here. You talking to, and then you fighting with chihuahuas. Big dogs got confidence. I got a little dog, Georgie, 8 pounds soaking wet, and I got Coco, who's about 90-some pounds now. Georgie's all up in her face, and she's sitting there like, little boy, if you don't get out of she don't even move, because that's that big dog confidence. They ain't fighting with no chihuahuas. It ain't a fight. And sometimes when we just allow the wrong voices, here we go, we allow the wrong voices in to a place that they should not have access to. Can't nobody come for you and your self-esteem and all that unless you open the door and let them in. You got to shake yourself. I get crazy emails. People be saying crazy stuff. I be laughing. I say, these folks is crazy. Delete. I don't call it. You know what she said? And she said this about me. It ain't true. Delete. I had a consultant write me the nastiest thing. I called her. She was ready for a fight. I was cracking up laughing. I was like, this is the craziest email I ever read. She said, oh, you got my joke? For real, though? It wasn't a joke. But you just can't believe I'm laughing because you got bad grammar and the thing was crazy. I don't receive that. I needed you to know that. It was a joke to me.
I'm just...
Yeah, I know. I'm pouring. I know. I know what you're doing.
It's filling me up.
Yeah.
Because the people really be playing... They will play with you to the point where you start questioning.
It's true. But that is also why you've got to have other voices in your head. So sometimes we allow the wrong voices, and then we shut them out. But it's like the earthquakes. You know, when they have the earthquakes out in California, they have aftershocks. And so the earthquake is over, but it's the aftershock. So what you experience sometimes is the aftershock. So you got through the situation, but you're dealing with aftershocks. And when you don't have a mentor, coaches in your life who know what time it is to pour back in, the aftershock shake you.
You think it's the end of the world, but somebody can look at you and say, girl, stop playing.
That's what I would say.
The next is right around the corner.
And it's already there. You just don't see it yet.
You ain't looking in the right direction because
you're distracted by... You about to fail this test over some nonsense?
That part. Whew.
Right.
Not God sent you here to get me together.
Well, yes, because you cannot stop the voice he's given you. You don't sit down for anybody. You only sit for him. If he stopped it, that's one thing. But man can't stop what he has already blessed and ordained for other people to get their strength through. You don't stop. You keep going. You keep speaking because you're speaking life and breakthrough to other people. So it doesn't matter what it looks like you're going through. You are fine, and you've got to keep your voice going. You don't stop, and you don't answer the critics. You laugh because they cannot hurt you. You are bulletproof. You wouldn't have this mic. You wouldn't have this studio. You wouldn't have this audience. You wouldn't have the ability to manifest. You put me on a board, and then my people called you. Come on. You are in the will. Doesn't matter that it doesn't look like. You stay put and watch God work.
Not you making me cry up here.
Well, you need more of these voices
Tabo, we
in
gonna
your
have to
life.
cut this out. I ain't
We
never
cutting
cried
this out.
publicly. Oh my God.
No, we're gonna keep it right on in here because the people need to know that you dealing with
the way
this
you're
too.
repeating what God has already said in my head is what's really doing it to me.
Yeah.
It's just the confirmation.
Yeah, I knew this was an assignment, and we were gonna make this thing work. Yeah.
Let me get it together.
Yeah. Tabo, we ain't cutting nothing. We're going to let the people see it because you're blessing people by being this transparent. They need to know that this is what this walk is. Everybody, you know how many people want to sit up with this microphone and all this little cutesy stuff you got up in here? Real cute. But it's a cost for this. There is a cost. There is a price for this. And you are called to pay it. And he will send you what you need. He will make sure you get poured into. And you just got to make sure you reach out. I will absolutely give you my cell. And you reach out. Just I'm saying, hey, just get a quick prayer. I'll get it through. I'll speak what you need. I'll seek God on your behalf to make sure that you stay strong and you stay put.
Thank you.
Yes. I don't know how we got here, but I'm glad we did. I knew we were gonna have a moment.
We are gonna have to cut this, but you're literally my last interview that I'm recording in here. So. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you and what you do, and I understand it. I understand it.
Okay, let me get myself together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Not on my bingo card for the day. This was not what I expected. Okay. In the midst of you having to pivot professionally,
Yes.
where you are not only in a specific industry, but your name, your identity is associated with this business. How do you pivot? How do you pivot when people have known you for one thing and now God is calling you to do something else?
Because we get our who and do confused. So my who I am is not, I'm just not the jewelry lady. I am so much more than that. That's my do. I did jewelry. I did other things. But who I am is so much bigger than I even knew. If I would have just stopped with my who being the jewelry lady versus that's what I do, then I couldn't be sitting here with you. I wouldn't have this season because I'd be too embarrassed not to be her. And then my ego would be so tied up in the jewelry lady that I could never move forth and do all these other great things that God had for me to do.
What did you tell yourself, though, on those hard days when you were on the floor? Because in theory, I know it's all happening for a reason. I'm not just talking about
Right.
myself, but I am talking about myself. But we know everything happens for a reason. We
Yes.
know it's all working out. We know that God has us. But in the moment when you are down on the floor, what do you tell yourself to remind you of who you are?
You know what? I don't, in those moments, I'm crying out. I'm just getting the pain out. So I'm not trying to remind me of anything. I just want to go and get the pain out where I know God can take it, He can handle it, and I can get filled back up. That's honestly what I'm doing because I understand the long haul of the journey. So I'm not trying to figure stuff out or telling myself, I'm there because I'm in need. I just need to keep going. And I feel like I don't know if I can continue. That's why I'm usually there. And I need the pour back in. So I needed to get the refill. And then I get up. When you are doing what you're called to do, you may question it sometimes, but there is something in you that won't allow you to stop. And you don't have to ask that because the answer is already in you. But what you do ask is, again, God, why? But you already know it's for you to do. And when He decides that that's it, you're going to know about it. I knew about it. He told me in front of 2,000 people in Vegas at Caesar's Palace. I spent $1 million on this event. And I got on that stage and He said, look out, because this over. I'm in all blinged out at the Caesar's Palace with thousands of women. Folks wasn't even in the business, but wanted to get my room rate at Caesar's. And they're there. And I hear it's over. Who am I then? And that's when He started. It's two difference. Who and do. you still who you are. You still got all this experience, this wisdom, this knowledge. It doesn't go away. Now, there are some people, there's some haters and critics who wish I would have just went away. So they can say, whatever happened. Oh, no. I'm not going nowhere. You all that I went through and learned, I'm pouring that back out. It's so much more. And even you just tapping the surface of the microphone. So much more in you. So much more that will come out of you. But you will also have to trust the process and don't question who
I've been
you
asking
are.
so many questions. I've been asking all the questions, Dr. Tracy.
You don't need to ask the questions. You don't need to ask the questions. You're already who you are. There's no need to ask those questions. Maybe when is a full breakthrough coming and those questions. But who am I? Am I this? You are that. And he's showing it to you over and over. So you've got to make a decision. I'm going to believe this, what you said. And I ain't looking to the left, to the right. I don't care what Big Mama or somebody else said. I'm going to stay here. And then this is what people say. You know what? I knew it all along. I knew who you were all along. I saw it all over you. Girl, that time you said you about to quit, I was saying to myself, she better not. All that in her. Main one. She ain't going, why she doing that? I don't know who she thinks she is. I don't know what she got to do with that. And we going to do this and do that. Stay focused. You already know. So those are not the questions you need to be asking. You need to resolve that. Even today, I ain't asking that. What we gonna do? Where we going? What you need me to do? How do I flow? Give me some insight. I had inside information. See, that's what people don't understand. That's what that relationship gave me because I invited him in the business. I had insight. I had inside information.
What does that look like, inviting him into the business? Because I am stumbling around to that, and I feel like that is why God had to sit me down. Because I was out here feeling like I was doing God's work without God, without consulting him consistently. Because I was living in a godly way, but actively talking to God about who I'm working with, what I'm deciding to do, every little detail, I was not doing that. What does that look like for you? Like, what is a process of truly bringing God into every area of your life?
Every area. Well, and especially in my business days, it looked like me being up early. I wouldn't be snoozing. I'd get up and I'd make sure I make at least 15, 30 minutes, and I wasn't doing all the talking. I would read. I would decide, okay, I'm going to read this, and then he would interrupt that reading and just start talking. And then I would be saying, I want to put this before you. I'm having interviews today. I need your insight. I need to know who we need to bring in. And then he would just show me things. Even one of my staff, I had no idea this particular person was so against me, but I saw it. I wanted to know, show me the enemies and then show me how to handle it. Because, see, I'm ready to go off.
See, I need to pray that prayer. I need the second half because he showed them to me and I'm like, ooh.
No. Because I had one enemy working with me and I was ready to let them go. And my mother saw it too. And she was adamantly against that person. But the Lord said, not yet, because they were teaching me some things. They were teaching me some new things in social media. They were teaching me, and this was all some new stuff. And she was upset with me because I wouldn't do this. But I heard God, not yet. And I had to swallow all of that. And they were stirring up stuff with other employees against me. Even my employees would come and show me the notes that they were doing. And I had to sit there until the time. But guess what? When it was time and I did release the person, all of a sudden, all these new doors opened up. It was the right time. I was able to go in. And even for my mother, I was like, because I did it God's way, I was able to bless her. She didn't have to work. I took care of all her stuff. So she couldn't understand that, but I heard God. But my flesh wanted to drop kick, get them out, show me who I'm working with, and show me my timing. And give me the grace and the peace to hold on until you say, make the move. So I had to be gracious. I've learned how to just be gracious and not phony, just gracious.
Well, what's the difference, Dr. Tracy? Because I be feeling like the phony thing is not for me, but there's an area that I need to learn how to get into.
Yes,
but I
it's
don't
the
want it to be
grace.
the phony area.
It's grace. It's not phony.
How do I do that?
So phony is, hey, you know I love you. That no, we ain't doing that.
Okay.
But the grace is, hey, what's going on? Okay, let's get down to business. Let's talk business. And knowing that's the enemy. So you already know lockdown systems. So like there was access that had been granted that I locked down. So I did the things. I did the lockdown stuff that I knew to do. But I didn't need to fight. I didn't, hey, let's get the work done. Let's have a meeting. I stayed focused on what that mission was at the moment. And they were an integral part. They were a part of that mission until they weren't.
That's some maturity right there.
Absolutely.
Spiritual maturity.
Spiritual and financial. You messing with money.
You're paying this lady at the same time. Or I don't know if it's a lady, but you're paying this person.
Right. So, but I'm being paid. So it's spiritual maturity and it's business savvy. I'm hearing God. Work it. Work. You ain't got to be funny. We wasn't going to no lunch. We wasn't hanging out. We working. And I'm getting all I need. And I knew that there was a clock that was going to tick down. So I got everything I needed. And they thought they were just stepping all over me. Their biggest mistake was they thought I needed them. What I need is God in my family, my husband, my mother, my son. I mean, come on. No. See, you made a mistake. But you got to just sit there until it's time. And when I heard let Lot go was the word I heard that Sunday at church. By that Friday, Lot was gone. Mm-hmm. Yep. It was over. And because it was gone. And I knew it. I had full release. Go now. And it was so smooth. Woo! That thing was smooth. Dancing smooth. You hear me? Dancing smooth.
But to get to that point where you're just hearing God clearly like that, that's where the consistency comes in.
That's where the consistency comes in. And that's why it's important, too, that you have people that you can talk to who live that life, who understand that. Because it's your consistency, but sometimes you need to talk that thing through with somebody who knows, who can say, look, I know what you want to do, and you're not being phony. You don't try to go out for nothing to eat. Don't see now you phony. Don't do that. But you smile, you do, because God will have you.
To smile, but you're going to get me together. I'm going to go back and
watch
this.
You're going to have to smile.
Yes, okay.
Because your money, we're talking also business. You ain't doing business with everybody who's a Christian and saved.
This is true.
Right. So you in the marketplace, baby. So you going to get them all snakes and wildlife come up in the marketplace. And you got to be able to handle. You're a snake wrangler. What you talking about?
In a godly way.
Of course. You know what Paul did? That thing with some venom bit him. He shook that thing right in the fire. And everybody's waiting for him to die. Oh, he was a bad man. So he made it over here on that one-piece raft, but they going to get that snake got him. He about to die. Please, he went over there healing sick folks. Then they invited him to the house. Hey, can you heal my... Because he could shake it off. He had something special in him. That you could come with all your venom. You can't get nothing here.
I'm not crying again, Dr. Tracy. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I feel like you are probably the strong friend. Mm-hmm. Who do you turn to?
Well, see, that's one of the reasons why I always had to consult the Lord in business, because I didn't really have that. So, especially, I had strong family, but in business, I always said Jesus was my CEO, and I was never afraid of that. And I had people who were not spiritual people in the business. I had people who were other faiths. I had Muslim women, and I was very respectful. I talked to them about, I love their hijab. You know, I don't know if that's what they call it now, but anyway, hijab, whatever. Right? Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
The hijab. My bad.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll cut that.
We'll cut that. Yeah, cut that piece, so we didn't get no comments on that. But I tried to be very respectful. But I was also just living that life out. But I was never afraid that they were going to take their money, because I love the Lord. I couldn't do it without them. So you want to make some money? This is what I do to make some money. I need him to guide me. I need that insight. I need that inside information, and I need that protection. So you want to ride on this ride? This is how we doing it.
So you felt like, or not you felt like, you got clear direction from God. This is over with.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you got clear direction what the next was? Or was there, I call it like a hallway. Did you have a hallway moment
had a
where it's like, I
hallway.
left that door, but I ain't got to the next one yet?
Yes.
What did you do in that hallway?
I kept going. You step out and you find out. I didn't hear anything, but I'm not the kind to just sit still for too long. And I had sold my house that I had built. This was like, and people ask me all the time, how'd you sell? It was like 11,000 square feet on the water. I built it, took 3 years, but it was over. I heard God say it's time. And we sold for an amazing, we broke a record, and it was, only 4 years old, but it was time. And I heard that. So I'm not tied to things like that. And when I was selling it, the agent, I wound up selling it myself and then called the agent crazy to get in to get the commission. So the agent said, you know what, you should do real estate. So I did. I always wanted to do real estate, and I did dabble. I always had investment, property things. And so I said, let me get my license. Got it immediately. Like first try, I did the 1 week class and then went immediately to a cram and got all within 3 weeks, I got my real estate license. And I said, okay, God, you with me? You with me on this? I'm going to go work in the office. I went and worked I'm sitting up in the Compass office. All I'm doing is at the coffee machine, grinning at everybody, talking. I felt like a fish out of water. And I never said, I'm Traci Lynn. I was trying to learn. So I'm learning and just grinning. And I just felt like, this is crazy. I'm sitting up here. I ain't sold nothing. I ain't showing nothing. No, this ain't it. That wasn't it. But it helped me with my investment. So my husband and I, he got his license after that, and we partnered. We started a investment company for property. We were always doing it. So that was for that, but it wasn't for me to do that. And then I happened to come to Atlanta. I got on a stage, just did a little interview, and from there, people were like, well, you know what? Do you have a mastermind? Can you start, mentoring me? I was like, yes, that's my wheelhouse with my eyes closed. And that's how it started.
And that's what it was. I think a lot of times people would get stuck in the real estate because it's like, oh, it went so smooth. This is what God wants me to do.
Yep.
But then it wasn't.
Yeah, and then it wasn't. But I was in that hallway, and I enjoyed the study. I love studying stuff. I love getting stuff like that. And I really enjoyed that part of it and the knowledge. But sitting there and then waiting and then sitting at some open house all day, thank God for the agents. They have to be serious.
On it, yes.
On it. But I gained so much respect for the agents through the process, but I realized I'm not called to this.
That's not for you.
It's not for me. And I did think God was in it because, to do all that in 1 month, that was like unheard of. But, that's how I be moving like that. I move like unheard of.
I think that's what it takes, though. It takes that tenacious spirit.
It
takes
does.
that God gives it to me and I'm going to go figure it out to be able to, I'm not wasting time. Like, if it ain't work, I'm going to figure it out today that it's not going to work and go on to the next.
And that's what I did. I went on to the next. And I just felt like, okay, so here we are. And even now doing that and doing the podcast, because I get an opportunity to pour. So in my pouring season, I get an opportunity to give back, to help the next generation of $100 million, $1 billion women come up through the ranks and make it, and don't get stopped in a hallway, stuck there, or stuck in the valley of the shadow of death. It's only a shadow. You got to keep moving through the valley. People get stuck in the valley, and the valley oftentimes is the middle, and people get stuck in the middle.
That's where God is trying to work on you.
Yep, exactly. Because that's that valley stuff. That's when stuff happens. That's when you got to get real focused in on hearing his voice. You step out, you find out, you make a little wrong move here and there, but it's all good because you at least stepping out. You get fine tuned in, and then that direction just starts just coming in with precise precision. And you don't even know how you know. You know stuff. You know stuff. Just like when the warehouse went, I got an email. I got inside information. And then they said, keep Traci Lynn out. Don't tell her until we completely close. And the landlord was going to lock the building that Friday and lock my stuff in there. And Monday they were going to start telling the customers. Before they could tell one customer, I was at the door. Had called the sheriff's office, my lawyer. I was at the door at 9 o'clock. Like, who told her? Inside information.
Okay. Pause for the cause.
Yeah.
What was the ultimate closing of the company? It wasn't voluntary? It wasn't...
It was. Yeah, I mean, it was. I got my stuff out of there and went to another warehouse. So they couldn't close me.
Gotcha.
They didn't start me. How could they stop me? If you don't start it, you can't stop it. So they wasn't going to be stopping nothing. But after I did it, I had a cruise that Friday. I had an incentive trip to go on. And it normally takes... I had a big footprint. It takes weeks to move, 3 weeks to do it. I did it in 3 days and then went on that cruise. And that's where I broke down crying because it was...
All of it came to
all
a head.
of it. I didn't have time.
To process it.
Right.
Yeah.
No. And then I went out speaking. I heard it Friday, spoke on Saturday, went to church Sunday, handled that thing Monday morning, ready, and got it done. So at the end, we sold on my terms. So, yeah, they couldn't block that and stop that. So I was able to sell it when it was time. But what if I didn't want to listen because my ego was tied up in that? Oh, no. I want to... When it's time to go, it's called the jump off. There is really a chart called the jump off chart. And you got to know it's called the life cycle of a business. And in it has the life cycle and the jump off. And then you got to know when it's time to jump off. Now, I had studied the other jewelry companies. I knew I was there. But I was believing that I was going to be the Mary Kay of jewelry. I was still going to keep going. Even, Mary Kay could keep going, even though that's a consumable. And it was what the Mary Kay was called to do. I wasn't called to do that. That was a legacy. My legacy is different. And all the jewelry companies, they all ended at a certain point. Every single one of them. And I studied that out, so I knew. Just like when I was standing on that stage, it wasn't a surprise. I was already studying the life cycle. So I didn't want to hear it. I was surprised because, not me, God. Come on. It's me you talking to.
I thought we was doing this thing.
I'm doing this thing. I'm the Mary Kay of jewelry. Come on. I'm going to be... No. No, you're not. Get ready. That way, it'll be on your terms. And then you can come back and sell that bad boy.
So, do you have a lot of free time now in this season of your life?
I do. More free time. Yes.
You're exploring hobbies. I heard you saying bodybuilding.
Uh-huh.
What led you to decide to go down this road? Are you into just personal development, challenging yourself, or what was
always
your
into
intention?
personal development, but had a desire in my heart always to be not just fit, but like really muscly, feminine, muscly fit. Always. I would be on a cruise and I'd see a girl, like got some muscles. I would say to her, let's take a picture. Can I take a picture? And it just kept like, why am I doing, what is this in me? And I read a book when I was like 20 years old by a woman who was really looked good in fitness, and it stuck with me. And I used to do more exercises back then. I mean, I still did the treadmill. I always did some form of fitness to try to keep it together because I needed my energy for what I needed to do, but I didn't have the level like now. I train for 4 hours every, 4 days a week, first thing in the morning. So that's my 5 o'clock rise, getting up, get to the gym. So that's like a new, so.
What do you do for 3 hours?
Well, I have a personal trainer. So what I do, I have to do cardio before I eat. So I've got to do an hour of cardio. And then, so even if it's Stairmaster, I got to go to the gym, and then I have to bring my food. Then I have to eat. Then I got about 30, 40 minutes to digest. Then I'm with my trainer for about an hour and 15 minutes. And then I've got about 30, 40 minutes of other things. I got to do all my sit-ups, all my crunches. I got to do a couple hundred of those. And then I've got to do my inners and outers. I got to do the glute busters. I got to do all that.
This is intense.
Yeah, it's intense.
So are you going to be doing like competitions?
I am. Wow. Yeah, I am.
This is exciting.
It is. It is exciting.
And you are serious.
Oh.
So, because I want to talk about the food, the packing of the food. Were you packing your own food prior to the bodybuilding? Was that already a way of life, or did this add?
No, I was packing that going out to eat. Yeah, that's what I was doing, packing the to go when I was.
But
the
now
doggy
you are
bag.
Literally preparing everything that you need before you leave the house.
Yes, everything.
That is a real commitment.
Yep. Even when I go to the gym, I take 2 meals. But if I go real early, I have to bring my whole breakfast with me, and then I have to have my meal for 12 o'clock because I'm still there from, it could be 6, 7 in the morning, so I'm still there at noon. So I have to eat at noon, and then if I have a special class after, so I do all my Zooms and stuff from outside at the gym, and then I go back in, do the special class, and then I eat again, and then I go. But I don't stay late every day, but I always bring at least 2 to 3 meals with me.
What is one of these meals? Just tell me an example of
Yeah.
one meal you got in this bag.
So in this bag, I brought my meals for the whole week, and I have I've got some tilapia in there. I've got some grilled chicken breast, and I have it because I measured it all out at home, so it has to be measured, and I cooked it. So it's cooked with low sodium, and it's in extra virgin olive oil. If I'm using any oils, so nothing is fried. You can't tell me you cooked it and you put all this oil. I need it a certain way. My egg whites, I normally make egg white bites. I didn't bring them because I can do an egg white omelet at the hotel, but they got to spray it with ham on their grill top. I don't want no oil. So I can do spinach. So I thought about it. I could do omelets, with spinach, no cheese here, and I can do a salmon on a grill top with no oil and 5 asparagus. So I'm gonna have that for dinner here every day. That's my fresh dinner and a fresh breakfast, but I brought my own muffin, my own Ezekiel bread muffin. So I
What
brought
is
that.
up with the oil? Because I've been going down a deep dive with when vegetable oil was introduced
Yeah.
into society and basically all of the health effects that have come after. But what is your reasoning behind avoiding oil?
Well, I use extra virgin olive oil, so I still use olive oil more on that Mediterranean diet side because the health benefits of that extra virgin cold pressed, that oil.
Specifically.
Yes, specifically. It's just healthier oil. And I don't use a lot of oil. So if I'm going to cook, put a little oil in something, I want that extra virgin olive oil. Now, I be getting mine infused with hot seeds. I got it infused with lemon, garlic. I buy it infused with stuff and then plain.
So it's
But
much more flavorful than...
much more flavor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You figured it out. You figured out your way, and you're like, I'm not playing with y'all. I'm
Because
going to do what I
it works
need.
for my body. And that's what I figured out, how to get the best results. So since February, I've lost about 20-some pounds and a lot of body fat. So that
When is
was
your
the key.
competition?
It's coming up.
It's coming soon?
It's probably in the next 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it going to be your first one?
It is.
Oh, okay.
True
Well, congratulations
novice.
in
Yes.
advance.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, though,
Yeah.
you have managed a marriage in all of this.
I have.
The world wants us to think that you can't do that you cannot maintain both, let alone your mental health being in one piece alongside of it. So
Yeah.
what has been your secret?
Well, my husband and I have been married now 30 years on Monday, July 1st.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So 30 years we'll be celebrating. And our secret, first of all, he is my best friend. And I can't imagine mentally what it would be like not having him. And he has been a covering. And see, this is where sometimes women, if he's not making more or doing more of this, I don't know how he could be out there doing all of this. I'm doing all of that. We've worked together. And he's been able to cover me. He's been just a refuge from the storm. And we have rules. We don't talk business after 8 o'clock. We don't check emails. We have, since maybe year 2 or 3, once we got into business, doing, business stuff together, we put these rules in place. We don't do business after, a certain time at night. We're not checking emails. I'm not on Instagram at, all hours of the night. So we love being together. We are really great friends and partners. We love each other and we enjoy spending time. Now, has he gotten on my last nerve? I said 30 years, absolutely. Yes, he has. But we have always said, and he said it to me, I married you for life, so I don't care what you do. If you need to go into that back room for a couple of days, or I need to go back there, I will, but I ain't going nowhere. We're going to work this thing out. And he had to say it because I was the skater. I'm an only child. And I came from my mother and my grandmother. You know, I seen single women do it. I hadn't seen married couples. And so I was always ready to go. I don't need a man because, you know, you're strong. My mother raised me to not depend on a man to make it big, that I could do it. She always believed in me, my grandmother. So I came up with that, which was wonderful, but I had to learn how to humble myself, to not always be right, give up my right to be right when I know I was right about that. I know I said that. I know I was right, but I don't have to say that all the time. So even being married helped me in business because I didn't always have to be right. I didn't always have to give everybody a piece of my mind, you know, because I could set it off and set it real straight. But I've learned how to temper that and how to work that thing in business and in life. And a lot of those lessons came in life. So you can have a successful, God-fearing marriage and
Make $100 million.
wow. And have somebody right there to have your back 100%. Somebody to have your back. So, and you can do it. And you can do it all with God.
Okay, so I need you to look in this
I'm
camera.
sorry. Yes.
No, don't.
Okay.
Listen. You have nothing to be sorry about. But there is somebody out there that is hearing all of this, inspired by all of it. Maybe they
Yeah.
was crying along with me. But
Yeah.
they are at a place now where they still feel like they don't have it in them. They can't reach down far enough to get it. What is your Girl Stop Playing advice?
That you are Coco, you are a big dog. You've just been playing with the little chihuahuas. So you done forgot who you are. You need to go back and watch The Lion King. That's what you need to do. You got some little Simba action. You forgot who you are because you around with the hyenas. Just laughing and they really playing. You need to stop playing. Get in your rightful place. Dig deep. Change your circle. Number one, I'm going to give you 3 quick points. Change your circle immediately. You got the wrong people in your ear. Here you are, big dog, running with the chihuahuas. Wrong people, first of all. Number 2, get the vision, write it down. I'm not sure. I got so many ideas. Well, we're going to step out and find out. Write one of them down. Well, I don't know which one to do. Write down the one that's going to make you some money first. Let's start there. Because you get a little money in your pocket, you be like, ooh, I got this. And do it when it's easy, not when it's hard. You ain't got to go out and quit your job and then you're going to do it because then you're going to eat all the profits. You're going to eat all your money. And then you're going to go back to work and say it didn't work. Well, you ain't working. That's why it didn't work. Start it when it's easy. While you working somewhere else. Make the time. I'm too tired. Well, then get untired. Get on that treadmill. Get some energy. You gotta get the energy so that you can do it. Find the time. My grandmother used to always tell me, I don't have the time. Find the time because you got the talent. So make it happen. No more excuses. Girl, stop playing.
I could just drop the mic at this point, but you got to tell them where they can stay connected, where they can watch that documentary, how they can get more of you. Let them know.
Well, you can follow me at everything social is at Dr. Traci Lynn, including my YouTube channel, which is where the documentary lives. I just released it a couple weeks ago, but it's at Dr. Tracy, TraciLynn. I got on a green suit, big hair, and a check mark.
Big suit, green hair, check mark. Check it out.
Check
We
it
will
out.
drop all of those links down below.
Yes.
Y'all, don't send the people clips of me crying. I can't believe Dr. Tracy came over here making me cry. But this was a therapeutic conversation.
Good.
For sure. And I know it was
Good.
not just for me. I know it was not just for me. So
Good.
truly, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Y'all, follow Dr. Tracy, okay?
Come on.
I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. I will catch you on the next episode.